Sure. My name is Derrick Flitcroft. Currently living down in Fort Lauderdale, Florida. Doing a bunch of events down here and everything. So hit us up and look it out. Look out for it. But yeah, we can do this nationwide. I've done events all up and down the East Coast, from New England, New York, all over the place, all the way down here to Florida. So
Now, kind of tell me about your background as far as combat sports goes before you got into some of these events.
sure. So let's see. I mean, start out young. Football, wrestling, and rugby were my three main sports growing up, and then through high school and stuff like that. And then so I spent a lot of my life wrestling. A lot of people sleep on wrestling, but come on, it is the basis of all fighting sports.
Hmm.
And I took a lot of that. I played D1 rugby. I was D1 all conference at Rutgers when I played there, and I went and joined. Actually before that, but before getting to actually go to Rutgers and play in college and stuff like that. I was in the Air Force for 6 years, and coming out of that, I found this sport. My last deployments where I kind of took all that money and I put it into armor, and yeah, wasted a bunch of money when I first started out, but it was amazing. And honestly, I would change some stuff, but I wouldn't. I don't regret it. I really don't. And I've been doing this sport for over 7 years now.
Now, kind of talk about, like you said, you put money into the stuff. Maybe tell me about the first time this idea kind of popped in your head or how it came about.
So the first time I saw this was some deep dark hole of YouTube at 2 a.m. Right? You just go clicking through, and eventually you find more combat sports stuff that is just, it looks fun. And I saw some people beating the heck out of each other with axes, and I was like, well, that looks awesome. And they mentioned a team in New York City. I was like, oh, they're close. I could find them. So I did. And I wound up going to a couple of practices and just fell in love with it. Right. And it is, you haven't asked yet, but yeah, this is wearing medieval period, period authentic steel armor. Anywhere from, if you're doing a light kit, it's still 45, 50 pounds. My kit's about 80 pounds of steel when I'm wearing it and fighting in there. And the weapons are solid steel, right? We don't choreograph. We don't do the medieval time stuff where it's, big flashy sword strikes and they just hit each other's swords. This is competitive fighting, right? You either scored points or you win by taking your opponents down to the ground and making them submit.
Now, how could you submit it when you're in all this armor, just out of curiosity?
So, I mean, there are ways to get TKOs, right? Just overwhelming, blows onto someone, right? You can aim for gaps. Certain places, are illegal, like the groin and, up underneath like the neck and stuff like that. But say like the armpit usually doesn't have any armor, and you can just punch